Hello and welcome to this demo of the GCON4 MFL as a maintenance tool. Before starting this tutorial, we recommend that you also watch the other videos so you can have a more comprehensive understanding of the tool. In this video, we will show you how to use the GCON4 MFL to retrieve data that is already in Business World into an Excel spreadsheet, amend it, and upload it back to the system. As you can imagine, this can save you lots of time, especially when you want to amend several pieces of information in one go. We will explore the maintenance functionality of the GCON4 MFL through three different scenarios. The first one, if there is a requirement of changing a specific field in a master file, for example, if the procurement department needs to deactivate several suppliers at the same time without having to go one by one and change its status. On the second scenario, we will see the case when a company, due to a new password policy, requires to change the passwords of all the users. And in the final and third scenario, we will explain how to extract information from a master file from one company and upload it to another one, for example, in the case of a new acquisition. Let's begin with the first scenario. First, we need to connect to Business World from the MFL. And then we click the Generate button. We select the master file for which we need to update the data. In this case, we want to update information for the supplier master file. So we select Supplier. Make sure that you have access to update data to the selected master file. If you do, you will see the letter U right here. If you don't have the necessary access, just go to Business World and open the Menu-Based Access or Role User-Based Access screen. Go to the third tab, Web Services, and expand the MFL Services section, the Master File section, select Supplier, and make sure that your role or your user has Update Access. This section of the window is where we need to specify the criteria for the retrieval of the information. For example, if I only want to update information for a particular supplier group, I would select the top supplier, then the field Supplier Group ID, and then specify the ID of the supplier group that I need to retrieve. If I want to retrieve all the registers of the supplier master file, I can also indicate a star in this field. You can see that there are already some fields selected. That means those are mandatory fields and cannot be excluded from the generation of the spreadsheet. The same happens with mandatory tabs, for example, the Address tab. Select all the fields that you want to include and make sure to include the field or fields that you want to update. In this scenario, I want to update the status of the supplier, which is already selected. Click the Generate button. Assign a name to your file and save it. Once the MFL ends generating the Excel, open it, and you will see the data based on the criteria that you indicated. For example, I indicated that I wanted to retrieve all the suppliers because I indicated a star. So you can see that the MFL retrieved all the suppliers. Amend the fields you need to change. For example, in this case, I want to close several suppliers. So I'm going to change this status to C for some of them. And the ones I don't need to change, I'm going to delete them from the spreadsheet. Also notice that there are some columns that have a mandatory optional in the header section. That means that they are mandatory when migrating for the first time, but optional when updating. So, because we are only updating the status, we can delete the rest of the columns that have the mandatory optional on top of them. The only one you need to leave is the ID of the supplier, which actually says mandatory. The same happens with all the other tabs you are not using. You can just select them and delete them. Once you have your template filled with the information you need to update, save it, go to the MFL, click on Load, select your file, and the MFL will now start to update the information. If it finds any errors, it will instantly show you the log specifying where the error is. Or if the upload goes okay, it would also prompt a log, but indicating that the uploading process was finished successfully. If we go to Business World and we run an inquiry on supplier, you can see that the status of the ones who indicated on the template have been changed. Let's move now to the second scenario. In this one, based on a change on the password policy, we need to change the passwords for all the users. The steps are basically the same we just showed. Go to the MFL, click the Generate button, select the user master file. Make sure that you have access to update data to the selected master file. In this section, we need to indicate that we want to retrieve all the users. So select the tab User, the field User ID, and on the value column, enter a star. Make sure that the password field is selected so it can be included in the template. Click the Generate button. Assign a name to your file and save it. Once the MFL ends generating the Excel, open it and you will see the data based on the criteria that you indicated. In this case, all the users. Amend the fields you need. In this case, the passwords. Delete the columns that you don't need and the tabs that you don't need. Save the template, go to the MFL, click on Load, select your file, once the MFL finishes successfully, the passwords of all the users will be changed. There you go. The normal way to do that would be to go user by user changing the password. Did you see how fast that was? Finally, on the third scenario, let's say a company has acquired a new one and needs to copy the information of some of the master files to the new client in Business World. The GCON4 MFL allows you to do that without having to use the AG09 server process of UBW. To do that, on the MFL, click the Generate button, select any master file that you need to copy, let's say Projects. Make sure that you have access to read data. In this section, indicate a star to retrieve all the projects. So I'm going to indicate the tab Project, the field Project, and in value, I'm going to put a star. That means I'm going to retrieve all the projects. Select the fields that you need to include in the template and click the Generate button. So this is the information I retrieved from the client that I want to copy the data from. In this case, all the projects. Once you have the data retrieved, one of the advantages of this functionality of the GCON4 MFL is that you can amend the spreadsheet and include only the information you want, which you cannot do if you use the AG09 process, where you can only select the tables. Once you have your spreadsheet with the information you want to transfer to the new client, just save the template, go to the MFL, and connect to the client you need to upload the information to. So just change it here. Let's say I want to upload it to the client EN. Click Connect. Once connected, click on Load, select your file, And once the MFL finishes successfully, the information will be uploaded to the new client. So there you go. So now you have your projects copied from the CI client to the EN client. So now we have finished this video in which we have shown you how to use the GCON4 MFL as a maintenance tool. Thank you very much for your attention. We hope this video has been very useful, and we encourage you to continue watching the rest of the videos. If you have any questions or queries, please go to the GCON4 MFL website. You can leave your comments or questions there, or you can write directly to this email address.